Hello everyone, welcome. The topic of today's lesson is some tips we're going to give you about working in the days leading up to the elections. Look folks, what happens in the days leading up to the elections? Many voters are undecided, they don't know who to vote for. So, in the days leading up to the elections and on election day, the number of undecided voters for proportional positions can reach 50%, and for major positions, it's 10%. So take a look. If you already have a candidate, you know their number. Can I give you a campaign flyer? Informed voting? All of this shows, folks, that the voter hasn't been won over. Most of them haven't been convinced. So, grassroots campaigning could be done the day before the election. Because people confuse grassroots campaigning, but in reality, grassroots campaigning is exactly the polling place or the school where the voter casts their vote. And what if we have a lot of restrictions on election day, folks? There's nothing better than working the day before. And the day before, there's a schedule, an organization during the 3 months leading up to the elections. See the importance of the work the day before. If the candidate doesn't do this, I have my doubts about whether they'll be competent to hold a public office, folks. And look, all the work done over 3 months is guidance that's provided with informative talks on how to work with groups. Here are the polling places. And then we train these teams. We choose the people to take on these roles, and they are precisely the ones who have already worked during the campaign. We're going to look for those who have immediate and proven potential to work the day before the election. So, notice that all the work the day before the election has to be based on a database that you built throughout your campaign. Go get those who registered, what priorities the voter has shown, the problems they mentioned, the issues they pointed out. See how important and how much information there is. It's a lot. So, we're going to provide an app for you to do some testing. And this app will show you how to register, record neighborhood priorities, and administrative speeches, folks. And also public policies will be included. Look, now we have a representation of a polling place, and around the polling place, notice that there are buildings. Notice that there are health clinics. There are also unions. There are various organizations around the polling place, which is exactly where we live, folks. Our street, neighborhood. What's back there around us? There are clubs, there are churches, there are hospitals. See how important it is to do work at the polling place. In other words, the people around are going to vote. So, if you get close to these people and form a little work group, look here at the little group. How interesting it is. Look, a leader who has with him the campaign workers. We can even call them boqueros, let's say. And there are also the poll watchers and everything around here. Look, this work of the leader and the campaign workers is actually about winning over the voter, which can be done the day before. Don't wait to win over the voter on election day, which is prohibited, folks. So that's it. See how important all of this is. Pay attention. Candidate, look at what you have, the potential you have. Work on this every 4 years. You don't have to wait until the last 3 months to do it the day before. Work ahead of time. The anticipation is very important because it's a time close to winning over. The voter is open to being won over. Let's move on. Well, the polling place is there, the school. Right. And it's necessary to have a coordinator for each polling place. We call them coordinator 1, 2, 3, 4. However many polling places there are, we will have the coordinators. And we have the general coordinator. What is the general coordinator? It's the candidate's lookout. He keeps an eye on what's happening around the polling places. There, he knows how the leader is behaving, how the team leader is behaving, and how the monitor is behaving. And we will also have delegates assigned to work on election day. And they are already scheduled in this phase. So we have the polling places, the leaders, the team leaders, the monitors, right? See the importance of everything related to the network. You put your leaders working in the little system in the app. See the importance of this. The 4 HQs. Let's say there's a city that needs 4 HQs, different locations. What is the HQ? The HQ is where we have the advisory teams. It will provide support on election day. But we already set up this advisory team beforehand, the day before the election. So you see, folks, the HQs have their advisory teams. We have field support, or a support group. We have personal legal advisory. Very important, right? And operational support, which takes care of all the materials and resources needed on election day, including the vehicles we rent to do this work around the polling place. This is really important, folks. Election day. What can and can't be done, folks? Let's see what can be done. The individual and silent demonstration of the voter's preference by carrying flags, buttons, or stickers of the candidate or party. Yes, on election day, a person can wear the clothing of the party and the candidate they support. It's a citizen's right to express themselves as long as it's a silent demonstration and doesn't involve picketing or forming groups, which is prohibited. The use of caps, hats in an individual and silent manner. Party oversight with connections during the voting. Our monitors around and inside polling stations. There can be up to 2 monitors for each polling station, folks. 1 in transit and 1 inside the room. Look, this important condition. And then we also have everyone wearing badges, identification, the party's initials, and coalition name. That's a problem. And bring a little cheat sheet. The person who is going to vote can bring a little cheat sheet of their candidate when they go to the voting booth. Right. What can't be done? What can't be done is to hold pickets or gather a crowd, as that can lead to personal fines. Be very careful on election day. That's why we say day before the election is a great opportunity to work. See the importance of the day before the election. Gathering of people until the voting ends wearing t-shirts, carrying signs. But a demonstration that is not silent is not allowed. In fact, the use of loudspeakers or sound devices and holding rallies or parades. The aspect of offering free items or transportation for voters is not allowed. That's not allowed. What you can do is be with your team and provide snacks for your work team. It's different, folks, for people to stay on a lookout all day long to ensure that the election goes smoothly. Doing the exit poll. They call it doing the exit poll, but in reality, it's handing out flyers on election day, close to the polling place, and that's not allowed. There's even legislation that, if I'm not mistaken, mentions that up to 100 meters. After 100 meters from the polling place, it's possible to invite voters to vote for one candidate or another. So we finish this part here, everyone. Well, we don't have the topic for the next class, which is the action and combat strategy. But first, recapping. We saw what happens on the day before the election. We gave tips for the candidates to work on the day before the election. See how important this is, huh? Make sure your candidate pays attention to these details, folks. On the eve of the election, there is a whole organization, a lineup of people. There are the advisors who work at the HQ. There is the entire computerized part that we mentioned of importance. And see, winning over voters is not a stolen vote. The vote is won. People. A stolen vote is one that's bought. Because buying votes doesn't mean that voter is committed to your cause. That's dangerous. Folks, pay close attention. So I would like to thank you. Now we move on to the next topic. And I hope you all enjoyed it. Any feedback, let us know. Let's also mention that we have, within this topic, links for you to check the Superior Electoral Court and the Regional Electoral Court for more complete legislation, including the electoral calendar. Thank you very much, and a hug to you all.